smash somebody, take the money, go home or rest.
It's the co-main event and absolutely a banger that we always wanted to see. We always dreamt of it, and if we ever got it, we thought it would be at 170, but nonetheless, on 10 days' notice, Kamaru Usman is stepping up for the originally scheduled Paulo Costa and is taking on a guy that obviously no one wants to fight. It's Boris, Khamzat Chimaev, and of course at Meat Boy MMA, we've been repping Khamzat since the beginning. We meatlocked his first fight in the UFC, and it was obvious that this guy was a superstar well before he even joined the promotion, but it's been nothing but amazement from his end. He's essentially lived up to all the hype that he's had, and the last time we saw him was against Kevin Holland. It was an easy light work finish in the first round, and we know he was originally supposed to be fighting Nate Diaz, and that probably would have gotten ugly, but it still got ugly either way, even against Kevin Holland, who is a very tough fighter, and essentially it's been non-competitive fights for Khamzat, except for that fight against Gilbert Burns, which was a fight where he was really tested. He maybe even lost a round in that contest, but nonetheless, he's still undefeated. He's ragdolling everyone. He's as well-rounded as any guy we've ever seen, and he's taking on Usman, who was 20-3 or is 20-3, right? He won 10 UFC fights in a row, had the welterweight strap, and defended it 5 times, including against Colby Covington twice, and against Gilbert Burns, who he was actually able to finish. So until Usman ran into Leon Edwards these last 2 contests, he was dominating basically everyone. So it's been a very fascinating couple of years for Usman, and now he's ready to step into the ultimate challenge at 185 against Khamzat. So what are your thoughts on this one, Meat Boy? Any chance the Nigerian Nightmare comes back with a vengeance and 185 is going to be his home and he shocks the world against Chimaev, or is this going to be a light work, easy finish for Boers and title shot is all that could be next for Khamzat? What do you got?
Yeah, this is such a great matchup. Like, holy crap, talk about a G move. Usman taking this fight 9-day notice versus an absolute savage killer. But it makes you wonder, why wouldn't he take the fight with more of a notice? Why didn't he do it, months ago or a year ago? Why now? Is Usman running out of money? Is he desperate for the title? Is he just realizing he's running out of time and he's getting older and older? I just don't know, but we're going to find out, I think, a lot. If Usman truly is that champ, he's going to smash Boers. But I just don't see it. 185 debut. Boris is so massive. He's going to make Usman look really small, I think. And without Boris cutting all that water weight and being depleted, I think Usman's going to have a very tough time versus a very full, healthy Khamzat Chimaev. Unlike when Khamzat fought Burns, he gassed out quickly because he was so dehydrated and makes such an insane cut. It was a little bit more competitive. I just don't see it in this one. I think Boris is going to ragdoll. I hate to see Usman go out this way, but I don't know. I don't think this one's looking good for Usman. I am rooting for Usman, but I just don't see it. I think.
Yeah, for sure. And, Usman is, I mean, you could also maybe argue that he will be as filled out possibly at 85 too, because he's a totally massive 170 pounder, but it does feel like Khamzat will be the more natural 185er because the dude is massive. He's going to have a couple inches of height, even though Usman does have a slight reach advantage, which I found fascinating. But in this one, Meat Boy, it does seem like Khamzat, at 85 specifically, will have more advantages than Usman, and he's going to have more experience, right? Because he's fought, I mean, I know he fought that fight against Kevin Holland at a catchweight. That was at 180, but he also fought at middleweight against GM3, slept him early and often, so he does have a little bit more experience at middleweight than Usman does for sure. But if you're looking at Tapology, 75% rolling with Chimaev, 25% going with Kamaru, and I was actually a little surprised. I thought it would be more one-sided for Chimaev, truthfully, and I also thought that at minus 290, those are probably the best odds we've ever seen for Khamzat, maybe the best we ever will see. So obviously, I'm not saying that Vegas is giving Usman crazy love at plus 235, but there's some respect from Vegas and a little bit of respect from Tapology as well. So in this one, we know, Meat Boy, that Usman is a dominant wrestler. He is able to usually take guys down and keep them there. How do you anticipate the grappling unfolding in this fight? And is Chimaev even going to ragdoll Usman?
Man, if Usman is that guy, this is going to be a competitive fight, but I don't know. Usman 185, he seems big for 170, but I think he just seems mediocre, like smaller than Robert Whitaker for 185. I just don't like the move up personally, but maybe I'm wrong. I hope he proves us wrong. I hope he shows up. I hope it's a great fight, that's for sure. I hope it's a close fight. That'd be sweet if it's a close fight, win, lose, or draw. But I just don't like the age, the 2 L's, fighting Boers for 185 debut. This just seems a recipe for disaster, or maybe Usman knows something we don't. So I'm very excited to see. I got Boers in this one. But yeah, I think Boers is going to ragdoll.
Yeah, perhaps he knows something. Perhaps he's thinking, hey, I slept Gilbert Burns, and Gilbert Burns really tested you, so maybe that gives him some confidence. But, you know, he sounds ready to roll. He seems hyped up. Trevor Whitman is obviously pumping him as well, and it's going to be interesting. We're getting both Trevor Whitman and Henry Hooft in Usman's corner for the first time, so a real packed, coaching-heavy affair with Usman. But I'm with you all the way, Meat Boy. I got to go Chimaev, and I think he's going to get a finish in this one. I just don't see a world where Usman is able to compete with Chimaev, and maybe that's crazy to say because Usman, even just a year ago, was unstoppable essentially, but I do believe that Khamzat is that guy, and I think it's just inevitable that he's challenging Sean Strickland for the belt. Maybe not by the end of the year, but probably first quarter of next year for sure. So respect to Usman for stepping up. Wish that Paulo Costa was still on this card because Costa versus Chimaev would have been a lot of fun. I think the build-up for that fight might have even been more interesting than Usman, but it's good to see the fans really respecting Usman for stepping up. I don't want to say saving the card, but being a huge part of this card's recovery because it's been getting kind of sketchy these last few weeks, and you just love Usman stepping up. You love OGM stepping up, and the card remains a banger nonetheless. So with you, I'm taking Chimaev. I'm taking him by finish. You know, thoughts?
No, great fight. Throw in the comments who you're taking and why. Does Boers get a finish, or does the Nigerian Nightmare come through?